Welcome to another live race on my F1 channel, and we are racing here in Monza. So Lewis Hamilton gets off to a very blistery start, and the thing is that I have tried the manual release, while starting the race, the assisted race start, and there is a manual race start. So I tried the manual right now, and trust me, it worked wonders. I got off to a great start at the race, and as you can see, I have quickly built up a very big gap between me and the next guy. So we are off to the first turn, and it's a sharp chicane where you have to brake precisely. It's a left and a right in a very quick succession. If you miss even be a few inches, you're up in the gravels. And as you can see, we are racing today in Monza, Italy, and Monza is rightly called the Temple of the Speed because there are several reasons to it. The track has a lot of straights, straights where you can really pick up speed and be at your fastest. And as you can see, you have a very long straight, and then there is a very sharp turn to the right, and it's kind of a curve. So you need to apply as little brake pressure on your vehicle as possible so that you can hold on to the speed, and then once the turn clears out, you can push again to the top speed. And this is again a big straight where you can gain a lot of time. So I'm actually surprised because right now I'm on softs, and I believe everyone behind me is on softs. And even though they should also have got a good start, I'm not sure why, but I picked up the pace really early, and all throughout the qualifying it has been a tough one for me. The gap between me and the next guy, for the pole position was only a few hundredths of a second, or I would say a few thousandths of a second. It was very close. My qualifying time was somewhere in the range of 1 minute and 24 seconds, and the next guy was also in the same range, but it was pretty close. So I kind of don't realize why I got to such a good start and they didn't. Maybe it's because of the manual clutch, and I've been using the assisted race start all this while, and probably that is the reason why I was losing a lot of time at the start. But now that I know that the manual start is a better way of starting your race and getting a big time advantage on time behind your opponents, so I will continue to do so. So Monza has given us a lot of beautiful racing in the past. We had a big time screw up by Mercedes, in 2020, wherein Pierre Gasly from AlphaTauri was able to secure the pole position. It was his first pole and a very memorable one. It's basically because our tires blew up. Mercedes completely fucked up their game at Monza in 2020, and when the top dogs are down, the guys behind the top dogs are happy to pick up the pieces, and that is exactly what AlphaTauri did. Although I am very happy for Pierre Gasly to have got that pole position, but well, as they say, every dog has his own day. So Monza was one of the few where Mercedes let down their game and the others caught up, but well, it's Mercedes that we're talking about, and this is Lewis Hamilton bait. So Lewis is guaranteed to get pole positions, and as you can see his track record is immaculate. For some, pole position is something that is a dream. For Lewis, it's business as usual. For him, it is not really surprising because he is top talent, and he has been getting pole positions all his life. It's not that he just got pole position in 2 out of 21 races. It's somewhere in the range of 18 or 19 races out of 21 races. So that is a huge achievement, and given the kind of speeds and the G-forces that you're experiencing on this track, that is well saying something. And Lewis is getting old, not as old as Seb or probably Kimi Raikkonen is the most ancient guy on the track. But Lewis is getting there. But I have to say, he is in top physical form and he has been performing at the top of the level for the entire duration of the time, and that sort of consistency is something that you would never get to see from Max. I hope that Max pulls up to the level that Lewis has, because records are meant to be broken, and I sincerely hope that Max gets it, but we'll have to wait and watch that out. As of now, the reality is that Lewis is at the top, like it or not, Red Bull. So Monza has a lot of steep turns, wherein you can really lose a lot of time if you even break half of a second late. You can completely lose your racing line, and even though I would say some part of the track have gravel traps, but not the complete track. There are runoff areas in the track, the one that you just saw right now. If you missed your braking in the first turn, then there are a couple of chicanes that you need to cut through, otherwise you're going to incur a time penalty. So in 2020 it was a very funny scene when Seb kind of lost the brakes, because the temperatures at Monza can hit a very high level of temperature, and that can actually cause a degradation of your brakes. So what exactly happened is, all these drivers pushed the car to the top of the limits. The car is literally running on the verge of its maximum capabilities. Data by AWS shows that Lewis and Valtteri regularly push the car up to 98 and 99.5% of the top speed. So consistently doing that is putting a lot of stress on the car, and that stress combined with the kind of temperature that we're seeing in Monza will really affect the carbon fiber discs. And those who are not aware, the discs in Formula 1 are made out of carbon fiber composites, and beyond a certain temperature, if you're consistently hitting around 1000 degree on the brakes, and the brakes are not getting the required time to cool down. So basically what happens is, when the calipers clutch on, put pressure on the brake literally erodes away. So you can actually see that as a black smoke coming out of the tires. So this is exactly what happened with Seb. Seb was literally pushing his car. He was in a Ferrari, and Ferrari had the most pathetic year of their whole entire season with Formula 1 in 2020, wherein they were nowhere competitive, because this track is basically a power unit driven track. So the more top speed that you have, the more I literally saved my car right there, or I would have spun around and fucked my race, but I caught up. So Monza is called the Temple of Speed, and that is due to the reason that you need a lot of engine power if you want to stay at the top. Downforce, yes, is necessary, but again, more than the downforce, you actually need a top speed. So you can basically compromise between your downforce and top speed, and give top speed a lot of priority. And Ferrari was not exactly at the top of their game for the entire 2020 season. They were basically, kind of very slow, and slow to an extent that, even the Alpha Tauris and the Aston Martins and whatnot. I'm sorry, Aston Martin was not in 2020. BWT and all those third and fourth teams, they were able to easily surpass, Ferrari and overtake them. So that was quite sad. But that is racing. You don't develop your car. You cheat in 2019. You you introduce fuel into your chambers, in an illegal way. Then you're going to get what Ferrari got from the FIA. So 2019 was blistering for Ferrari, and they really won a lot of races. But that was at the cost of cheating, I would say. I would not hide it. It's pure cheating. Formula 1 being a very technical sport, there's a lot of regulations on a lot of things, and these cars basically run on a limited amount of fuel. And if I might be mistaken, but that amount is, I believe, 100 kilograms of fuel. And you have fuel flow regulators that actually measure how much fuel is going into the combustion chamber at any point in time, and they keep a track of it. And what Ferrari managed to do here is that they basically found a way to tunnel the fuel into the combustion chamber through separate means apart from the fuel flow connector. So you are not exactly getting the right data from the fuel flow sensors, and at the same time, when you want it, your engine is getting more fuel than the other cars, and obviously more fuel converts to more power. So Ferrari was kind of unbeatable, even though Mercedes did win the championship. But Ferrari was very tough at certain tracks, and they were able to gain a lot of time due to this. But well, at the end of the year, and well, during the entire season, FIA has a rule that they can randomly pick up a car and examine how the car is performing, if there is adulteration with the fuel, if the teams are employing any tactics to gain a slight advantage over the competitors. And well, Ferrari was caught red-handed, even though the details were never revealed to the public. Many of us actually, signed a petition that we need to know what happened, but FIA was being very secretive. And the only thing we got to know that Ferrari was given a huge fine, and the car development was closely monitored, and there are certain aspects of the car which they were told to change. And they didn't go into the details exactly, but well, that is related to the fuel sensor. And behold, you see that Ferrari is nowhere near the top of the game anymore. So that was a huge amount of cheating that Ferrari did in the season. And 2020 turned out to be one of their worst. And given the history between Charles and Sebastian Vettel, it was kind of a tough thing. Even though Charles did manage to hold on for a lot longer, but Seb, I feel really bad for the guy. He had a very poor season for the entire 2020, and it also boils down to the fact that Seb was told to resign from Ferrari at the end of the season. He was being kicked out, and it was done right at the start of the season. It doesn't really give you the good vibes, and obviously those vibes matter a lot when you're racing at the top of your game. So Ferrari as a team and individually as a driver, they didn't manage to pick up much. And Monza added to that screw up when Seb was literally trying to push his car above and beyond its limits, and that kind of heated up his brake pads in the car to a degree where the brake pads started disintegrating. And it actually, when he was in turn 1 and he braked, it's really hard braking at turn 1, and when you brake that hard, it's putting a lot of pressure on your brake pads. And given the fact that they are already at a very high temperature, the brake pads literally blew off. It kind of started a fire in the tires, and he completely lost the brakes in his front and rear, and he was just a passenger waiting to crash into something. So at turn 1, like you're saying, I'll show you what exactly happened. So somewhere now you would start to brake at the 100 meters mark, and that's when the brake gave up, and he shot straight across, punched right through the chicanes, the one there above in front, as you can see. He literally punched through the entire chicane, and his race was over. There were a couple of other big crashes, I would say. Charles Leclerc also screwed up, and he literally kind of bumped right into the walls and fucked up his entire Ferrari. So don't mind the whistles behind me. It's our local guardsman who regularly comes and inspects the area. And right now it's around 4:30 in the morning here in India. So I kind of get up early and start on my races because that is the time that I get, and we have other schedules. So well, so basically Ferrari screwed up as a team, and they didn't manage to score any points at all. And coming back to the race, we have Lewis Hamilton, who has pretty much built up a space of around 8 seconds between him and the car behind, and we are comfortably ahead of the pack and racing our way down. coming to the discussion regarding the 2021 season, I am eagerly waiting for that season to start. Mercedes in 2020 has been, they have been good. Matlab, so far they have been going good, except for a couple of setbacks against Red Bull. At the start in the midst of the season, Mercedes came back strong. Couple of controversies here and there. Well, that's bound to happen. It's F1. What were you thinking? But Mercedes still managed to pick up. Right now, they are at the top. They are the title holders. The last race in Hungary was very, very expensive for the Red Bull. I feel bad for Valtteri that he missed his braking point and kind of smashed right into everyone and screwed up pretty much 5 or 6 cars right at turn 1. But well, Lewis managed to hold on, Esteban Ocon managed to hold on, and they kind of tried to get the best. But as you can say, Lewis did manage to get a really good number of points, and that has pushed him again to the top of the championship table. Max is again no longer the champion. Lewis is, and we are headed into the summer breaks for 2.5 weeks, wherein the entire Formula One grid will be basically off the grid. There would be no contact, just rumors flying around, and well, we all love a bit of humor, don't we? So right now there are talks about the future of Valtteri Bottas at Mercedes. So Valtteri is basically rumored to be out of Mercedes at the end of the season. Williams are in talk of having Valtteri back, well, because Valtteri started his career from Williams and moved on to Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula F1 team. So that is one news, and there are other teams which are interested in Valtteri just because of the talent that he has. So Alfa Romeo is seriously considering to have Valtteri Bottas as one of his drivers. There's a lot of rumor going around, but well, let the season finish, and then at the end of the season, Toto has promised us that he would reveal what exactly is the plan for Mercedes in 2022. There are high likelihoods that George Russell will be the number 2 driver in the car. And there have been a couple of rumors floating around about Lewis not being happy with George Russell replacing Valtteri Bottas. But well, it's not about liking a teammate or not, it's about racing at the top of your game. And Russell has proved that one time in the Bahrain race when Lewis was down with COVID, and George Russell was told to move over to the car overnight and replace Lewis for the race, and that is saying something. And George Russell was like amazing with the Mercedes AMG car. He was able to beat Valtteri Bottas to the pole. Oh my god, that was an awesome race, guys. So we are nearing the final corner, the final turn, and we are off into the pole, and we have the checkered flag, and Lewis Hamilton comes out on top. I hope you enjoyed this race and commentary, and if you liked it, do subscribe and share with your friends. Cheers.